What do you say when the whole class figures out it's your feet that smell like cheese?
Well, it's been what, 2 years since we've sat down and had conversations. Not for lack of trying, just
Yeah.
our lives all went in separate paths, and I mean, we're all back together now, and hopefully this
We
is
are
one of
back together again, like a
absolutely.
family.
Hopefully, this is one of many podcasts that we can chat with legends such as yourself.
You're very kind.
So
You're very
I
kind.
had
Thank you.
to actually go back to 1994, and I had to find the phone number to get in contact with you, and 1-800-YO-MAMA was the number that came up.
Tic-tac, wickety-whack. Hooked on slang worked for me, and it can work for you, too.
What? Don't
So-
go looking that up.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, but
Online is like, what? You get a lot of different things online when you start looking up Yo Mama, 1-800-YO-MAMA.
please welcome Scott Yaphe. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this, and it's great to chat with you again. I mean, it's been about 5 years because you were in
Yeah.
Sudbury with us at Northern Game Expo 5, and Clayton was your punisher, and you rigged the wheel to make it all punishments. And yeah, I think Clayton's glasses ended up breaking at the very end. He threw them or
Yeah.
something.
Oh, I think I remember that. Yeah,
I only
right.
had one lens.
Oh, shoot. Shoot, that's hilarious. Oh my gosh.
So Scott, you were part of a really important era for YTV. Well, I mean, not just YTV, but just in general. I want to say YTV was peak from 1993 to arguably, for me anyways, 1998.
Okay.
Obviously, it's still around, but it didn't really. To
Not
me,
much.
it doesn't really. No, it doesn't really have that same feel. But what's it like looking back on that time now?
It's really cool. I've only gotten on social media recently for like I've had a Facebook Scott Yaphe Wink Yahoo page that I had active a little bit. I mean, it's active now, but pre-COVID, I did a couple of cons here and there. I was a really busy dad. I've got a 19 and 17-year-old, and I was really immersed in family. And I do my own thing. I've got my own private practice. I do off to the side with stuff, and that's non-acting related. And so I kind of disappeared for 20 years. I didn't really do a lot of public appearances. They were very, very sporadic, certainly, pre-COVID. And then, the kids get to be a certain age, and my wife's like, hey, why don't you go out there and go do something? So I got on Instagram, and I was asking my kid, how do I use this thing? Like back in December. And it kind of like blew up, and this nostalgia thing got in my face to show me really how big of a thing it is, millennials especially, between the ages of 27 and 45. And so the feedback I'm getting to your question is I didn't really realize how big it is. I mean, they're telling me now that they got kids, they're coming in, they're visiting with their kids, and they said it's so amazing to not get a piece, but to connect with the person we grew up with after school every day when we came home to watch. And you don't realize, they tell me, you don't realize, Wink, how much it meant to us. And people have some really moving stories of how they might not have had a really good childhood, and they came home and that was the thing that kind of let them escape, and whatever it was. I'm only getting the picture now of kind of how important it was, because even back in the day when we were shooting it, I was in my 20s, late 20s, early 30s, and the rest of the cast was similar, late 20s, early mid 20s, and we weren't watching kids TV. We didn't really know nostalgia much. We didn't have smartphones, really super active. So all of this is shown to us actors now, with social media really kind of allowing us to be accessible to fans, how connected they were to it. So it's kind of mind blowing that we had that much of an effect. I say we as the cast of certainly, and I love it. I got to be honest with you. So it's really only started recently, now that I'm on TikTok and social and Instagram and Facebook to some degree. connecting with people. I try to get back to everybody as much as I can on their messages. That may not happen in the future, depending on how large it gets. But I love it. I'm trying to get across Canada. I've got some good cons coming up in the summer and fall that will be announced soon. And just did one in Barrie, and have Niagara Falls Comic Con in the winter. And I'm loving it. They're loving it. So it's kind of like a win-win, you know? It's been fun.
Nostalgia's huge now because it's like everybody's not holding on, but it's like, well, again, goes back to, for me, like 90s was what I grew up with, and it's peak for me. I don't know how Clayton and Adam feel about that, but like that was the era. And it's like you had touched on it before, like when you're filming and stuff, you probably weren't thinking like, oh, I'm gonna be doing conventions in 20 years. Like you're just there, you're just getting it done.
Yeah, totally. The only convention stuff we knew was like Star Trek and Galaxy Quest, making fun of stuff like that. I mean, that's the kind of, right? Galaxy Quest, amazing movie, by the way. If you haven't seen it, you got to see it. Not even to you guys, to your listeners and viewers. I'm sure you guys have seen it. And so, yeah, I didn't know what a con was until maybe even, getting a whiff of that because of the Star Trek phenomenon. And we were just actors. We were actors having a solid gig that didn't take up a lot of time because we shot for 3 weeks a year in studio. We did 40 episodes in 3 weeks, like 2 weeks a chunk here, and then a week in the fall, and like 2 weeks in the spring or something like that. And the Slime Tour was the more intensive shoot schedule where they went across the country, and they had way more shoot days than we did. But we got compensated well as actors, and we had no idea what it would turn into. And here we are, it's probably bigger now than I could have imagined then because of social media and the connectivity to everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say, I remember when you came through to Sudbury, Scott, to the convention there. Actually, I brought that one up.
Oh yeah, that jacket. I still got the jacket here, man. I got my jacket. That's great.
I was going to say, I don't have anything as fanciful, but I did grab a jacket to make sure if I was going to talk to you.
Yes.
You're ready for the occasion here.
It is now a formal podcast.
That's right.
Jacket, right. I've got this, if that counts for anything. I'm wearing my
fantastic.
I'm wearing my Retro Kid. And by the way, Retro Kid, they're going to have a new run, I think, of these soon. But this was at the Toronto Comic Con recently. I was at the Retro Kid booth and retrokid.ca. Yeah. So,
see, Clayton's even wearing I say mine, our shirt. And then I got Beavis and Butthead. So we're we're all like wearing the nostalgia stuff.
Right. That's all I got for Beavis and Butthead. I got to get better at it.
Love it.
I think that's all there was.
That's right. You're totally right. Yeah. You said balls.
Do you still get recognized in the streets, or is it like just by people passing by? It's like that. Weren't you that guy on that thing back in the day? Like,
yes, it's time to roll up the rim to win with 15 GMC Jimmy 4x4s, 5,000 Panasonic TVs, and over 13 million Tim Hortons prizes available to be won. Everyone's rolling.
Proof. Rim up the roll to win.
Pull over there, sir.
Wait, rolling winning roll.
It happens every so often, and it's funny because I don't know what they're referring to, because there are usually 2 things or 3 things that they're going to know me for. It's either so that's why I can gauge how old are you, and then I'm going to ask them, did you watch YTV? But if they notice me from one of the 2 commercials that I did that played forever, then I would reference one of those. It was like this Whiskas Temptation cat treat commercial, the jumping cat. So it's either that or this Expedia.ca fast talking spot that I did, but it's most likely the cat one because that ran for like 20 years on and off, which is crazy, or the game show. And most often it's the game show. But we live in Canada, right? So it's not like in the States where the exposure was this big and they don't have personal boundaries the same way potentially there.
Yeah.
Here you might find in Canada maybe a bit more shyness or a bit less readiness to walk up to someone. So I don't get it a ton, but every so often it certainly happens. Yeah. So it's kind of nice. Yeah. But if you see me, don't think you can't come up and say hi. You totally can, but it's still nice to be able to move around the world and do something, that where you don't feel like I can't go to a restaurant or take a piss at a urinal without someone looking next to me going, "Hey, you're Wink Yahoo." Whoa, hey, easy.
And I'll hear that. Boop.
Right. Actually, I think this is a true story. I hope I'm not outing him, but Mike Beaver played the Punisher. And the first Punisher, the second Punisher, we don't know where he is on the planet, but he's somewhere. But the first Punisher, Mike Beaver, he was telling me a story. He was at a urinal next to William Shatner, and Mike, I think, had a couple of drinks and was feeling good, and I think he turned to his side and said, "Hey, you're William Shatner," or something to the effect. He acknowledged him in some way, and I think he was like, "Uh-huh." Back to Mike, and I was like, "Hey, what do you say when Captain Kirk is taking a whiz next to the Punisher?" Uh-oh. And he's acknowledged while he's trying to release his bladder. Yeah. All right. Sorry, Mike. Didn't mean to out you on that if that happened.
So what was day-to-day life like on the set? Like you'd mentioned, you were doing shooting. Like how many episodes were you shooting a day, and all that fun stuff?
Yeah, it was as fun as it was a grind because we did 4 episodes a day. And the energy for me, I can only speak for myself, certainly for the other guys, they didn't have to yell and talk throughout the entire episode as much as I had to. And that's just the way it is, right? So doing 4 shows, trying to shout over the noise, especially at the beginning, and extras and intros with the crowd yelling. I couldn't hear myself most often during those segments as I'm reading the cue cards, intros and extras to commercials, and to the naming the kids that were on the cards. And I'm just hoping my lavalier mic was picking it up, and that the booth would tell me, "Scott, we can't hear you," or I just couldn't hear myself over the "Crazy and Blue, it's blah, 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 and so in red." I'm shouting it over the kids. So 4 shows a day. At the end of the day, I'm like raw, because I'm not like a theater trained, warm up your voice and you know how to take care of your voice. I'm like, I don't know any of that stuff. So I'd get home, and I was dating Jessica Holmes at the time. Now she's my wife. We got 2 kids. Jessica Holmes from Royal Canadian Air Force and the Holmes Show. And she was like, "Hey, how's your day? It was cool. Was it, And I was like, so we got a chalkboard. Like literally, I got a chalkboard, and I'd be writing stuff out to communicate with her, because I'm like, I got to rest the voice until the next morning, when I would warm it up with some tea and honey and a Bradisol kind of thing in my pocket to kind of warm it up, and start it again. And then the next day, wash, rinse, repeat, wash, rinse, repeat. And it would warm up. It would get there. But I had to do that. In fact, one of my favorite stories is when I started doing the cons again, and I pulled out the jacket that you showed in the picture. I found a Bradisol I think it's called a Bradisol. Not named after you, Brad, but it's a Bradisol. And it's like one of these throat lozenges. It was still in its wrapper in my pocket. Yeah, from like 25 years ago. I was like, or 20 years ago, because we did cons 10 years ago. It's like, oh my God. So I still have one.
So it's on eBay.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. But it's like a Big Mac. That you leave in the car for 10 years and then find it, no mold, no decay. Yeah. It's the same as it was when you bought it. Yeah.
I remember at the con you were saying too, when they clustered per days, this was also for so many months of the year in order to make like a season?
Yeah, well, certainly for the Slime Tour. Yep. But for us, 3 weeks. So in studio was only 3 weeks. So when we piled on 40 episodes, as an actor, it was great, because you're available the rest of the year to audition for other stuff. For me personally, with the salary, even though it was a non-union show, I got compensated quite well for a 27-year-old starting out in 1997. Although we did It's Alive before that, and it was great, but It's Alive was done, and another YTV show that I was born from. And so 3 weeks as an actor, we're in, we're out, got a good base to pay our rent, which back in the day was only like $400 a month.
Yeah, right.
Or $500 a month.
$400
Remember those days?
Doesn't even fill up your truck.
Doesn't even. Yeah. So it was great for us actors that way. But for the Slime Tour, they definitely had probably more fun. And I actually got to join with them once on the Slime Tour. I think on the back of this jersey, is it the 99?
Yeah, yeah. Very cool.
I got to join with them, and it was a lot of fun partying a little bit with those guys, and not having to perform as Wink, but I was definitely, they did the hair and I had to meet the kids, but it was I was like, oh, it'd be cool to do a slime tour, to hit the road. Yeah, a lot of fun, but it was great in studio too. Yeah.
What do you think from the actor's side of this stands out or stood out at the time about the show that made it different from other game shows? Like, I mean, as a kid, there wasn't much when we were growing up. I mean, there was Video and Arcade Top 10, which was a totally different style of show, but I
Right.
mean, there's still, I mean, Uh-oh is in syndication and it's on, I think, is it on Pluto?
Boomerang. It's on
Boomerang.
Boomerang Canada. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but there's still that lasting like effect from the show. Like what about Uh-oh is keeping it still happening, do you think? Like what's the catch, the grab?
Well, there's a formula certainly for kids TV with color, slime, action, lights. I mean, the whole kind of get the senses all percolating. So children's TV, whether it's back then or today, and I took a kids TV course when I went to TMU back in the day. There's some formulaic stuff that they know what they're doing when they put together. How do you grab attention for a kid? And so that certainly was part of It's Alive. That was part of Uh-Oh. So you've got that locked in. What draws a kid's attention is the same. Potentially, you might see a little bit different today, depending on the age who's watching it, would be the attention span. Maybe they would cut it a bit differently, quicker cut, more modern that way today, which would be a sad state. Certainly if they had to be like, Punisher Control, back to commercial, we're back. And then there's like, cut. but who knows? We made sure that when we did the questions and we didn't want to date it and or make it too Canadian necessarily, because we did air in Singapore and Australia. So they told me. I tried to look it up recently. Where were we in Singapore? And couldn't find it, but or Australia. I couldn't remember where it was. But I was told by Rick Watts, the producer and director, that we had aired there on Fox Kids Australia as well. So questions couldn't be dated too much, so that again you can wash, rinse, repeat years later and still play it, and not have it dated. So I think again the mess, the slime, everything that draws a kid in is there. And yeah, I mean, I'm certainly not I don't have a master's in kids television, but it just looks like it still plays. It just, still plays.
Sure. For sure. Even the interactions too, the like, whenever you were up with the kids, like just treating them as like full contestants, not necessarily just a little kid. And
Right.
like, oh, sorry, that didn't work out for you. Like, just like these types of interactions, not necessarily always, actually sympathizing with them, but just like, we're moving the show along there, kid. Like,
Yeah,
sorry.
right. I think you make a really good point. Maybe one of the things of this show in particular, and I can't speak for other shows, is that I tried to make it, at least in my own head, multi-layered, where if you got a university student watching this because they're hungover back in the day, they're like, oh, they're going to catch some jokes I'm going to try to sneak in there, or they're going to feel some of the stuff that like I can try to get away with it. And even Mike, the Punisher, trying to get away with certain things by saying certain things that goes over kids' heads, like The Simpsons or Family. I won't say Family Guy, but The Simpsons. You'd have lots of people who used to watch that would get it at this level, and then adults will get it at multiple levels.
Yeah.
So I tried to get away with some of that stuff. So did Mike, and it satisfied us as actors to a certain degree, And so some older people can watch it, and maybe the smarm and the over the topness and the energy, it really was a perfect storm of everything. I think I was really fortunate to have had the time slot that we did for kids to make it such a big show. Right after school, people came home 5 days a week. Yeah. The energy of the character was just natural to me. Jim Carrey was big at the time. And so I kind of had that. I went out for a lot of roles that were cast similar to like a Jim Carrey kind of thing. And so there was that. There was the kids' TV. It was a whole perfect storm that created this product that really took, and that kids love. So very fortunate.
I was going to ask if like, is there anyone else besides Jim? Was there any other game show hosts or anything that inspired you for Wink?
Yeah, well, certainly the name borrowed from when they said, "Hey, Scott, we're going to do this takeoff of the show. Would you like to do it?" I'm like, "Absolutely!" Takeoff of the sketch that was on from It's Alive. It's out there, by the way. I mean, you can find it somewhere. I might even have a clip somewhere on one of my socials. But they said, "Who would you think of a name, think of a whatever, a character?" And so Wink Martindale was a famous game show host from way back in the day. So I took Wink from that. And my last name's Yaphe, and the website yahoo.ca, yahoo.com was there, and Yahoo Serious was a comedian back in the day too. And so I kind of blended Yahoo, Yaphe, Yahoo was Wink, Martindale was my inspiration from a name. But in terms of the character and energy, I was thinking Elvis. Obviously, certain the dance moves that I'd have when they'd be spinning the wheel and kind of like just getting into it. The Johnny Bravo hair. I mean, it just allowed me the clothes and the hair allowed me to embody, like any actor would love to say, a character. And if you see the original sketch from that is not what I play on the game show that became the version everyone knew. I was like. And I've never done drugs, but like it seemed like crack cocaine. Wink was crazy, like bouncing off. I was like, I was like nuts from the It's Alive sketch. So when you see it, and you might even have a clip, you might be bringing it up, you'll see it. But that morphed into something like, okay, I got to pace myself, and it can't be that 4 shows a day. And I wanted it to be more smarmy as opposed to literally this energy bouncing off the walls. But the inspiration certainly, as I spit on my computer. I got a saliva thing going on. Hold up. I swallow. The inspiration certainly from the name, Wink Martindale, Yahoo, and then Elvis and Smarmy. And the clothes certainly from also Herb Tarlick from WKRP in Cincinnati.
Oh, nice.
Would be where I love the clothes. But the wardrobe people, they really ran with that before I even got a hold of anything. And they put the glitter on stuff. The glitter only evolved on the lapels. Not even in the first time we ever showed up. If you see the Psychoblast live version we did of it to announce it at Canada's Wonderland, there's a clip also on one of my socials that shows the first time ever we appeared. There's no glitter on the lapel. It all kind of like, as any show, it'll evolve a little bit. How it was performed, what the wardrobe looks like, even the set. If you look at the set, season 1 and season 2, the lights changed. We kind of like upped our game. It's kind of neat to see the evolution of it.
So you said you were in your like mid-20s, whatever, when came hit the scenes, whatever. So that would make you obviously a little bit older.
Well, I'm 56.
Yeah,
I'm 56 right now.
But before did you grow up on You Can't Do That on Television?
So great question. I didn't grow up on it. I shouldn't say that. I grew up with it, definitely part of what I watched on TV a little bit. I wasn't obsessed with it, certainly. Although I was obsessed with Alanis Morissette, if she's watching this. I love Alanis Morissette. But really, because she was on the show, for anyone who doesn't know, what's really cool about the link between our show, Slime, and You Can't Do That on Television, was Josh Morris. Josh Morris was a producer. Yeah. Who was the brains behind one of the major frontal lobe of the brain that created It's Alive, and It's Alive had Slime in it, et cetera, and he worked on You Can't Do That on Television.
That is so cool.
Yeah, so he was part of the slime history. Yeah. Yeah,
and
totally.
So I was thinking about that, like how you were around when that was on TV, then later on you became
pretty cool.
And then beyond that, there's another generation of young kid run shows where there's slime and there's stunts and there's all kinds of just wacky zany stuff happening all the time. And you said like you don't spend a whole lot of time on social media or whatever, but if you look at places like YouTube, you can see there's a whole world of kidfluencers now basically doing what you guys pioneered.
Wow.
They're doing the same shtick.
Yeah, and I wonder, and I, to the degree that you mentioned we pioneered it. We certainly played a chapter in it that probably took it to the, like, we put it on steroids, maybe, especially in Canada. And there are some arguments that we even paved the path before Nickelodeon did the Slime Time show that they had. We thought, well, maybe they kind of stole it, but they can steal anything from Canada and just claim it was theirs, right? But mess and color and zaniness has always been a part of, as long as kids TV has kind of, I shouldn't say has always, but I don't know if we didn't invent it. I don't think we invented it, but we certainly took it, ran with it, and injected it with like a steroid.
Yeah.
And so we love playing a massive chapter, if you will, in the story of kids TV and slime, and especially in Canada. So I love being a part of that.
Yeah. Canadian TV.
Pardon?
Like not just kids TV, but like kids like Canadian TV.
Yeah, and then, like you said, by extension, beyond television, because how long is television and cable going to even, look differently next year, let alone in 5 years?
Yeah.
Whatever people are shooting themselves, and influencers and kids creating their own stuff, and so however that evolves into their product they're sharing, I love that we played a role in creatively shaping their output. So it's cool. Yeah, it's very cool.
So I had watched a clip that you had done with somebody else on Instagram, and like I was doing some work on my convention, but the part that stuck out to me was you were almost slimed, or were you ever slimed on the show? Because like that, I heard you talking about how like fearful you were that was going to happen, and then it almost did.
Now, it's time to release the Screech. No, not me, the Punisher. Control. Voiceman, tell us about the prizes, will you?
Yeah, so my kids know I don't like getting wet. Look, I'll shower and bathe like everybody, and I enjoy a hot shower, okay? But don't surprise me with that stuff. Like if we're at we go to this trailer. We don't have a cottage, we have a trailer. My kids were like, let's go to the trailer. Like they're talking about it like it's $1 million cottage to their friends. So like, it's a trailer. Okay. We're going to the trailer. When we go to the trailer, I'm like, don't surprise me with the hose. Don't push me off the dock. Like I'm not a fan of that stuff. I don't know what. Ever since I was a kid, that's my lower T trauma. But slime, next level, especially when it would involve hair and makeup losing their crap and delaying the day. That it could probably never happen. But you always thought it could, because Mike the Punisher would do that. Like he'd wouldn't care about what was going on behind the scenes. And I say that because I love his spontaneity, but it made you on your toes and be worried, right? So personally, I never got slimed, but he picked me up, and that's what you saw that clip of. He picked me up once, and I thought, I'm done. He's gonna do it. He's going to throw me in the pool like he does with these kids, fireman's carry, and I don't weigh a lot. He could easily fireman carry me and throw me in. So I think if you watch that clip, I said, Punisher, control, 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 control. Like I must have said it 10 times. And then finally he put me down, and I was like, and then they cut to wherever we were cutting to. But yeah, I never got slimed, but it came close, and I thought he was gonna. Yeah.
That's you don't
it's
think about
visual.
These things. You don't think about visual. These things growing, because you're growing up and you're like, yeah, get him, dunk him in that.
Yeah, totally. Well, if you're a kid and you're watching, maybe I don't know what season it was, but let's say you're watching at home, going like in season 3, and you're following Wink, and you're like, what's gonna happen? Punisher, what's he doing? Right?
Yeah.
You think it's gonna happen as a kid. Anything can happen. Truly, with Mike, anything could happen. Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
So I got to say, like, so when we brought you out to Sudbury, it was like, well, first of all, I had met you at one of our friends at GameX in Mississauga, and so we started chatting there. And When you came to Sudbury, I would say apart from Degrassi, there's got to be something with the Canadian connection, because apart from Degrassi, you were our most requested guest.
Yeah.
And then when when we were talking about bringing you out to something else, and you had taken a step back just a little bit because you were focusing on your side job, like it wasn't devastating. I was like, oh well, I mean, maybe we can eventually make something happen. And then you popped back up on Instagram not too long ago, and then we started chatting about
it's just December 2025.
And so it's nice to have you back on the nostalgic scene, because again, a lot of kids my age are showing their kids what the craziness of the 90s was, and like that's why these conventions are great, because like I always say, you recapture your youth, if only for a day. And I mean, like, we show our kids like Nintendo and stuff, and well, that sucks. That graphics they're terrible. But it's I'm just what I'm trying to say is I'm glad that you're back doing all this stuff, because like
Absolutely.
You're part of Canadian history for one way or another, and like,
it's so crazy. It really is. Thank you. I really, really appreciate that. It means a lot, and it really is nuts. And you talk to anybody who's been on TV who does stuff. Like, we're all human beings, right? We're all just normal people. I had the people I looked up to, and I watched them because they're on the screen. If I ran into one of these people today, who I looked up to or watched or whatever, like, I'd drop a load, right? Like, I'd be also like, oh my God. I was like, holy crap, I'm talking to and interacting with Alanis. I'll say Alanis Morissette, right? Or whomever, even though I was 25 or 26 when her album exploded. But growing up, but still, we're all in the same human boat. And yet I truly recognize the connectedness that these kids have, now adults with kids. And especially in the world we live in, and we haven't touched on this yet, but one of the things why I think millennials are so into nostalgia is that I can't speak for you guys, but certainly there's not stuck between a rock and a hard place, but you got the economy, and you've got all these things that were promised to us that were going to work. Go to university, it's all going to work out. You're going to have, and then it's changed. The goalposts have moved, and millennials are like, crap, I can't get that house I wanted, and jobs are tough, or whatever it is. I'm generalizing, certainly. And then so when people get the opportunity to say, well, okay, I'm not going to be spending a certain amount of money on a house, but I want to feel good. And the world is really crap right now. And I don't believe it is crap. It just means there's a lot of stressors and pressures around the world. We see it in the news. So how can I feel good? What made me feel good? When I grew up.
Yeah.
And the energy, and me wanting to be on the show and winning a Panasonic 3DO, and I want that bike, and I want that Bop It, and that's what I want to get on the, and oh my God, and the Punisher, and that's why I've got my Punisher fetish, because I hear it from a lot of people, right? And so they want to feel good, so they want to connect, and that's accessible. That's accessible. And so we're connected through social media and these cons, and they can have a piece of our time together, and we can share our time with them, and they walk away feeling really, really good. So why now? The world, the situation, the millennials that we reach to, our accessibility with social media, et cetera. It's, again, a perfect storm of what maybe makes us. I'm trying to think of why our show, as opposed to all things nostalgia. But, a lot of voice actors will say the same thing when they go to these cons, where Sailor Moon, or it was X-Men, or whatever it is, they're meeting the voice of the show they grew up with, and they made them feel. It's all about feeling. And they get to connect with the feeling that they want to embody that feeling. So we're always chasing the feeling. It's never the thing. It's like the feeling is always what we're after, even though we think we want that house. We want that thing because of the feeling it's going to bring us, whether it's safety or security or peace or nostalgic reminiscing. It's always about the feeling that they're chasing. And this feeling they can have connecting with our show, it's there. It's there, and it was meaningful to them. So I don't take that for granted. I don't take that for granted at all. Yeah.
Today there is information overload. good news or bad news. And so everybody is dealing with that. But on the other end, back then when we had, no smartphones or other devices, literally you were either tuning into possibly dial-up internet or your television. Then at the time, even then, TV chose what you got to watch. So having, like you said, having your show in the perfect time slot, if it wasn't directly after school or Saturday mornings for a lot of us.
Right, it's true.
That was it. So your show being in the right spot, right time, everybody getting to go home and enjoy it, it does work out perfectly that everybody has those good feelings coming up with it. And again, as we hopefully tried to say here, we truly appreciate not only having you here with us, but taking the time to speak with us so that others get to see these things and get to reconnect with you even on Instagram, because sometimes it is important for us to be able to say, hey, thank you. Like, we really appreciate the work you did and how
I totally appreciate that. And it's funny. So I did Instagram for since December, and only after I did the Retro Kid booth at Toronto Comic Con, and they said, oh yeah, what are you on TikTok? I said, oh, I'm not on TikTok. They said, what do you mean you're not on TikTok? I said, what? Well, Instagram probably has that's where most of the millennials are, I was assuming. And they said, you got to get on TikTok. I was like, frick. All right, whatever. So I got on TikTok, and that's where I even saw it way more than Instagram of, millennials are here as well. And like you said, the receptivity, the ability to say thank you has been overwhelming. It's really, really overwhelming and humbling, I think is more the appropriate word. It's not overwhelming, like I can't take this, but it's like, wow. And so I love, and this is why I really try to get back to everybody, because I want every message to the best of my ability that they send me to be seen and heard. So I get back to it. It may take a couple of days, and while we're still at the numbers that we're at, I can get back. But it's important to me that if they say thank you so much, I want them to know, no, thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for showing up and loving it and it making you feel good now. And that's amazing. So I love that whole part of it that is kind of showing itself right now with the connection with TikTok and Instagram. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, it's cool.
If either It's Alive or came back and I mean, what would you, because I know you're, it's like you said, you don't do the live performances because you're old. Yeah, I remember you saying that clear as day back. Yeah. But I mean, what would you change, if anything, on either of those shows for today's generation?
I can only speak from the actor's point of view and not the producers and directors who really kind of know what's needed for it to succeed today in this new media landscape, how tighter the shows might have to be cut, edited, structured, which games may have more of an appeal, what kind of materials we would use. I mean, I'm sure they would know all that stuff more than me. So from an actor standpoint, I could tell you what I personally would do to survive a new version of it. We couldn't do 4 shows a day. Number one. Number two, even though my hair looks really good, oh, thank you. My hair looks so good, right? Okay. It's receding a little bit in a couple of spots during COVID. Like I was losing clumps of hair, must have been the stress. And then it kind of tapered off. So if I put my hair back up, I could do it, but I'd have to fill in a couple of gaps with a little black spray paint maybe and get somebody professional to do it. But the energy it took, I'm also in my mid-50s. If we ever got this back on its legs, I'd be in my late 50s. Probably maybe do 1 or 2 shows a day. And I think the change, which I'm getting a lot of feedback from fans, that they would love to see a millennial version. So not with kids, have kids who watched us then be the adults like you guys are now, come on the show, and they get to be the contestants. And then
but we would be just as tired.
You would, and maybe you wouldn't have as much fireman carry thrown in the pools, by the Punisher, but certainly the questions can get raunchier. We can make it a bit more adult. We can get away with maybe a little bit more, but still the questions can get maybe a little bit raunchier. We can take it to the next level. Millennials who wish they were on the show then could get on now and make them feel so good. The people watching, they would recognize it again. They'd be transported again to the past, but here. So I kind of would make that change maybe if it wasn't a kids show anymore, to make it like an adult thing. But if it was a kids show, I'd have to leave it to definitely producers and directors. I'd just show up and as an actor say, tell me where my mark is. I'll hit my mark, and I'll know my lines, and make sure we got a cue card guy, and I'll know the names, and let's go. Yeah.
Cool. That's a fun idea. I was gonna say, I think you probably have your first 3 contestants here at least. So
For sure. Listen, if it happens, you'd have to audition, but we'd sugar you up with fruit gushers.
Love it.
Get you all going.
You keep the prizes the same; they'll be worth. You could buy a house with some of the prizes that you guys put out at the time, with just how the collector factor is.
Yeah, that's true, right?
I'll go for 3DO for sure.
Yeah, the 3DO is like.
Although I don't know how much a Schwinn bicycle would go for now. Not too sure a Bop It would get you more than a plank of wood for that white picket fence at the front of the house. But besides that, the Panasonic 3DO would be pretty good.
I remember I was a little older when Uh-Oh came out. And
yeah.
I was a little too old for You Can't Do That on Television.
Right.
And then I was a little bit too old for Uh-Oh. So I never hit it at the fever pitch the way that other people did. But I mean, I always liked them, right? Like,
yeah.
But the 90s were a different time, man. Like you're saying, like the format of the show, everything, all the elements that you put into it, the commonalities between all of your influences. You pulled that whole melting pot together because that's all the stuff that was going on at that time.
Yeah.
There was so much going on that wasn't
that's true.
Political or any of that kind of stuff. It was just the zaniest stuff. And kids, even though you're an adult and you're pulling together this classic game show host look, kids still understood what that was.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, there's something about that just. It's always fun to watch that stuff.
I appreciate that. And truly it was an organic, magical. Oh, I got a new word. It's organical. Okay, I'm going to trademark that. It was organical, which is magical and organic. Oh, I'm literally writing that shit down. I mean, that stuff down right now.
That's fine. We're not big enough to be with a community strike for that. Don't worry about it.
Thank you. There's no 7-second delay. So it was very organical, and at the same time as being planned and strategic, and the people knew production-wise, direction-wise, what they were doing to make the elements as strong as they could be. So that was certainly intentionally planned. But for all the good shows that really, and I think if you talk to anybody about a successful media product, there has to be something magical and organic that takes place along with the planning to make it, a legendary show or whatever. And we just had it, including, as I tell people, the perfect time slot. There's so many shows that are really organical that have the wrong time slot and they get buried and then they actually never made it. There's some great artworks. If you go back hundreds of years, why did this artist have some amazing art but never get known, never sold anything? And yet, this other thing was time and place really, and karma maybe have some play in here. But we were so fortunate across the board to have it all work out.
So, and if I remember correctly, I want to say Uh-Oh was 4 or 4:30, so just before the mandatory sit down for dinner, because now you just eat right wherever. And but back in the 90s, it was all family time after 5 o'clock. If someone's ringing the doorbell or phoning during dinner, you're not answering the phone. Now we got Blink, and it's like you look at your phone. I don't feel like talking to that person.
Yeah, that's so funny. And my dad used to be awesome with that. He would take the phone off the hook. He would take the phone off the hook, the corded phone, and it would next to the couch. He would take it off at dinner time, put it under a pillow, because if it wasn't, you'd hear it go beep 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 beep, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably, some people are watching this going, what is he talking about? Look it up.
What's a
Go look it up
telephone
what
on a
corded phones did.
wall?
Yeah, yeah, right. You were tied to the wall, having to. It's like, yeah, so want me to hook you up with so and so? Click, and you take the wires and click. Oh, you want to talk to Jimmy? Let me get to Jimmy. Click, click, click. Oh, hold on a second. Wrong connection. Yeah. But he would take the phone off the hook, buried on the phone, and so we wouldn't get calls. And he would get peeved if people, if we didn't take it off the hook, and someone would call and it would interrupt family time and dinner. And he was right.
Mm-hmm.
So we at the house, we're not perfect with it, but we are always intentional in trying to make this land is no phones at the table. No phones at the table. And when we sit down, even if we're talking about something, oh, I saw this really funny video. Can I go get my phone? And someone says, can I get my phone to show it to you? We're like, not right now. Get it after. See if we can get it after. Yeah. So I think that's the challenge we live in today is as we're bombarded with all facets and different versions of technology to steal our focus and our attention, it's just the nature of where the world is and where it's going. We have to get more intentional at creating hard line boundaries. And that's on us because they're coming after you. They're coming after you. And they want your attention and they want your money. I'm not saying it's a conspiracy theory thing. It's just what it is.
Yeah, for sure.
They build the product to addict our attention to, that's just what it is.
They're intentionally
So-
organical.
Yes. Ooh, intentional. That's bad. But yeah, so we gotta get our line in the sand drawn with the world that's coming after your pocket and your attention and your time. So I think that's why, even though it's been challenging and for people's mental health, et cetera, and I never want to minimize the severity of people's challenges with this. I also think there's a necessary movement that this was all brought in, if you want, by the universe, if you will, to show us where our weaknesses are. Where we have to strengthen our muscles, where we have to strengthen our boundary muscles, where we have to strengthen we have to strengthen. And usually it's the universe showing us where we have muscles to work on is where we're challenged. So on a global scale, micro and the macro, where's your attention? All right. Universe says, I'm going to test you. I'm going to test you to strengthen it. So we got to go to the gym. We got to strengthen our muscles. Funny enough that I got on everybody's FYP on TikTok and like, thank God you showed up on my FYP. The algorithm finally delivered something. They were joking. It was really funny. Like, finally the algorithm delivers. Like, that's very kind. So, yeah,
Yes, it was ordained. I didn't hear
it was ordained. It was organical.
Yeah.
All right, come on, man.
See those green trees behind you, actually, and I'm fiercely jealous.
Yeah, so those are they're budding. Oh, those are the evergreen. Okay, so there are a couple of evergreens that never lose it. Those are the green ones you see right there, but the rest of them are budding.
Okay.
So I'm popping reactin pills like they're Smarties right now. Oh my God.
Well, if we can get you out, if I'm able to get you out next July, you won't have to worry about any of that because
And it's in
all
Rouen? Is that
in
where you are?
Rouen, yeah, Noranda
Rouen.
in Quebec.
Yeah.
Clayton does one of my exclusives he's only my second year, but he does an exclusive every year, and
That's really cool.
Yeah,
Very
so-
cool. I always tell people when they share information like that, it's like, this is not indicative of how well known or popular, because I'm like,
you're just not a
nope.
gamer.
And even from just being out of the loop, man. Like, it's weird. You become a parent and you get immersed in certain things, and then like you forget to go see movies or watch TV to a certain degree. And then I get immersed in other stuff, and then you turn around, it's 20 years later, and you're like, I don't even know what year is it? It's like Back to the Future. Where am I?
Yeah.
But I'm hoping to get up to the Sioux, actually. I was talking to somebody recently. They got a con up there. I'm trying to see if that connects with Pop Culture Canada soon. It might be not soon, but this year is a bit tricky. My kid plays baseball at a high level, and it's his last summer playing a competitive ball before he goes to university. And so my summer's really, really busy with his stuff, getting him out to school. in late summer, and then next summer is where I really can make sure that I'm not going to miss any cons, whether it be a Rouen or Sioux, or of course spring and fall will still happen, but I'm trying to make the summer as part of it next year too. It'll be a blast to come up and see you guys in person. Yeah.
Well, absolutely. If you make it through the Sioux, 100% I'll be in the line there to come say hi.
Amazing, amazing. And you, my friend, will get a free autograph and a free selfie.
I love it. I'll be there.
And if anyone's watching, of course, if anyone's watching, they better be watching.
Yeah.
As many of you are watching, please come on and see me on TikTok and on Instagram. I am on both platforms at The Real Wink Yahoo. At The Real Wink Yahoo on both of them. So we'll connect there.
Awesome.
Excellent. Well, we will wrap things up here. And again, Scott, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us. And thanks for
My pleasure.
all the memories for when we were growing up. It's you were a big part of a lot of people's lives. And again, you didn't think probably much of it back then, but now you're seeing all the effects of people messaging you saying, you were part of my life.
I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it. But two things I got to do before I leave is you got to get one of these. Punisher! Control Punisher! Bad Punisher!
Punisher! Control! Oh, my mud bath! I was hoping to relax after the show, but no!
I give a little, You are absolutely wrong, Punisher! He's wrong! Dump him on the head. Whatever it is, I forget the lines, but you get a whoop and a Punisher control, and then Bob's your uncle. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
That's man.
Well, thanks for tuning in, and we'll wrap it up here. Take care, everybody.
You got it. You too. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care. We'll see you in your respective towns and cities.
Thank you. Take
All
care.
right, thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.